Hello everybody, and welcome back to a brand new video. Now the RuneScape party hat is probably one of the most iconic items in the history of, well, modern video games. And I guess at this rate, it's not even that modern. In one iteration or another, RuneScape has existed now for 20 years, which is one of the longest running internet games in history. Now today I wanted to have a look at the RuneScape party hat, how it went from a worthless cosmetic item to something so valuable that you could buy a car with it. Sure, not a very expensive car, but you know what, you could probably get a Toyota Camry or something, used of course. Anyway guys, as always, if you do enjoy the video, I really appreciate it if you leave the video a like. It really helps the video get recommended to other people who haven't seen my channel before. Anyway guys, let's get started. Now to begin the story, we need to go way back in time to December of 2001. Now even though the game hadn't been out that long at this point, just under a year, the game was still wildly popular for being one of the first graphical online games that you could play. The game was very accessible because you could play it right in your web browser at the time, and it already had a huge following of hundreds of thousands of players. Now on December 25th of 2001, Christmas Day, the very first Christmas event came into the game. Now at this point, seasonal events were really new. The only one that had come before this was the Halloween event of 2001, so just a couple months earlier. Now during the event, you were able to pick up a very special item off the ground, and that would be the Christmas cracker. Now at any point you could use the Christmas cracker on another player, and each of you would have a chance of getting a colored party hat. There was a red party hat, the yellow party hat, the white party hat, the green party hat, the blue party hat, and the rarest one, the purple party hat. Now at the time, these were all considered to be junk items. There were thousands of them in the game. They were essentially worthless as you were able to get them for free and in large quantities. However, even at that point, some party hats were more rare than others, and that is because the odds of getting each of the colors was not exactly equal. For example, the chance of pulling a red party hat out of the Christmas cracker was roughly 1 in 4, versus, for example, the blue party hat, which had a rate closer to 1 out of 8. This was just purely by design, but again, at that point, it didn't matter too much. There were thousands of party hats and they were worth pretty much nothing. Now the Christmas event came and went, and people didn't really think too much of it at the time. It didn't really sink until much later that these items may never come back. That was eventually cemented sometime in 2002 that these items were truly discontinued and they were never going to be available in the game ever again. Now because of that realization, the price of party hats and Christmas crackers started to go up, and sometime by the end of 2002, they went from being pretty much worthless to being worth millions of gold pieces. Even at that point, a million gold pieces in RuneScape was quite valuable. Now you may be kind of wondering how that happened, because there were tens of thousands of party hats that were introduced into the game. Well, you have to keep in mind that at the time, most players thought that they were valueless. Nobody knew that they would be a discontinued item. So a lot of players just dropped them onto the ground, sold them to general stores around RuneScape. Some players logged off around that time to never log back in again. Their party hats just trapped on an old account. Now at the very beginning of 2003, party hats had already become one of the most expensive items in RuneScape at that time. At least one of the most expensive cosmetic items, meaning that it didn't really do anything. It didn't provide you any stats. Didn't really have a function at all. The only reason that it was so desirable is just because it was somewhat of a status symbol. They looked cool, you could show off your wealth, and a lot of people wanted them. Now at the beginning of 2003, most of the party hats were worth somewhere between 5 and 10 million GP, which again was a lot of money at the time. The red party hat was worth around 5 million at the time, and the purple party hat being the rarest, up to around 10 million. Now throughout 2003, the price steadily increased all the way up until November. Now at that point, the price of the party hats and the Christmas cracker had reached unheard of levels. The Christmas cracker at the time was worth around 20 million gold pieces, which was astronomically high, and the purple party hat was not far behind it. But then on November 7th of 2003, something really interesting happened. One of the most iconic events in RuneScape history, the party hat duplication glitch. Now people refer to it as the party hat duplication glitch, but more realistically it was actually just an item creation glitch. A player by the name of 6feetunder had found a way to create items by using a third-party piece of software called AutoRune. Now the duplication glitch was fairly easy for players to recreate, and 6feetunder had told a couple people about it. While it only took a couple people for word to spread, and all of a sudden, thousands upon thousands of rare and expensive items were being created and put into the game's economy. Now, as you might imagine, the most common items to duplicate or create were the most expensive items, and at that time, one of the most expensive items were, of course, the party hats and Christmas crackers. Now, as you might imagine, players focused on the most expensive color at the time, which was the purple party hat, and that was the most common item to duplicate. Now, obviously, quickly the glitch was fixed. Some players were permanently banned, and a lot of the party hats were removed. However, one really important piece of information is that Jagex, the game owners, never did a rollback on the server. So the thousands of rare items and party hats that were introduced into the game were never found, never tracked down, and never removed. Now, because of that event, the price of rare items and specifically party hats and a Christmas cracker dropped drastically. So they lost on average about 4 or 5 times of their value instantly in one day. Now, one really interesting byproduct of this glitch is the purple party hat went from being the most expensive party hat to now being worth the least. As the majority of players ended up duplicating the purple party hat, it became the most common one. Now, after that glitch, the price of party hats stagnated for quite a while. There was a huge influx of new stock, which no one had really anticipated. That in combination with the release of a ton of new content, including a brand new version of Runescape, which of course was called Runescape 2. All of a sudden there was tons of new content that all cost money, and players didn't value buying party hats as much anymore. Now, the price crash was so significant that they didn't really recover to their pre-crash levels until late 2004. Now, the price of rare items in RuneScape are actually determined by a few different factors. The biggest one, of course, is the rarity of the item. However, one of the other impactful factors that really started to increase the price of party hats a lot around 2005 was actually gold inflation. Around mid-2005, the price of rare items and pretty much any item in RuneScape started to go up very dramatically. Just for example, a Christmas cracker in June of 2005 was worth up to 80 million GP. So obviously they were rare and discontinued, but also just the value of gold pieces in RuneScape was just starting to go down. As the years progressed, more gold slowly entered the economy, and gold just started to accumulate over time. Now, because rare items continued to hold value, people still desired them, the price started to shoot up dramatically. So much so that in 2005, the price of party hats increased by about 4 times in value. By 2006, most of the party hats were worth over 50 million gold pieces, and on the higher end, about 150 million. Now, around this time, something really interesting happened. The Christmas cracker, which had always been the most valuable item, fell to second place. By a significant margin, the blue party hat is the most valuable and continues to be so to this day. And that is because it was the second most rare party hat to pull from the Christmas cracker, and the purple party hat had been dethroned 2 years back. On top of that, it was seen as one of the most desirable colors. Yes, the actual aesthetic color of the party hat plays a big factor into its total value. Now, because the blue party hat was so much more valuable than any of the others, the Christmas cracker actually lost value in comparison, because the chances of you getting a blue party hat in it were actually pretty low. You were much more likely to get any of the other ones, which were worth drastically less. Now, continuing on through 2007, the price of party hats just continued to go up. They went from 50 million to hundreds of millions, to 150 million to 200s of millions. Now, before November of 2007, every single party hat was traded player to player. If you wanted to go ahead and buy one or sell one, you had to physically find a player yourself who wanted it. Now, because of that, the pricing information I have here is, well, spotty at best. This is based on old forum posts, because I personally don't remember because I was, 6 when this game came out. Obviously, at that point, I wasn't studying the economics of party hats in RuneScape, although maybe I should have been. I even went through someone's RuneScape journal from 2003 just to see if there's any mention of the price of party hats in it. Now, because of that, the information kind of spotty, so if there are issues with it, bear with me. Now, this all changed November 26th of 2007 when a brand new update was brought into the game called the Grand Exchange. This added in a centralized market where players could list items, buy and sell, and an internal system would connect players together and do the trading for them. Now, pretty well from this point onwards, we have fairly accurate data when it comes to the price of rare items and really any other item you want. Now, the earliest data point we have on the Grand Exchange is May of 2008. Now, at that point, the least expensive party hat, being the purple party hat, was worth around 150 million GP, going up to which was the most expensive party hat at the time, the blue party hat, valued at around 380 million. And the most impressive of all was the Christmas Cracker, which in May of 2008 was worth 700 million coins. That is kind of ridiculous. Now we have pricing data from the Runescape Grand Exchange pretty much from 2008 to around 2015. Now you might be wondering why. And that issue is that the party hats and Christmas crackers became too expensive at a certain point. Now for those who don't know, in RuneScape there is actually a maximum amount of gold that you can have on your player at one time. Now the maximum amount of gold that you can have at once is 2.1 billion. Now that has to do with the fact that when RuneScape was designed, it used a 32-bit integer data type, and that was the maximum value. That is still the case today, and that has never changed. So like I said, by 2015, every party hat and the Christmas Cracker had hit the maximum value, some way quicker than others. For example, the blue party hat hit it in 2011, yet the red party hat didn't hit it till 4 years later. So what exactly happens when an item's value can't go any higher? Well, the rarity and value is still going up, but it physically can't go higher within the game's restrictions. So pretty much what happened after 2015 is players once again started trading them person to person, using third-party websites and forums to orchestrate deals. That is pretty much the only way to make it work, and even to this day, no party hats are pretty much ever traded on the Grand Exchange because you'd just be getting completely ripped off. Now, because party hats were being traded player to player, the volatility of the prices started to get pretty crazy, as really the only way to currently know the value of those items was really to be in the know, look at forum posts, and kind of guess. In March of 2017, most of the party hats were worth at least 5 billion GP or more, and the blue party hat being worth 13 billion GP. So next up here we have May of 2019, about a year and a half ago. Blue party hats are now worth 17 bill, Christmas crackers are worth 25 bill, and most of the party hats are worth over 7 bill, just 2 years later. Now fast forward to today, December of 2020. I went ahead and did a price check on all of the party hats and the Christmas crackers as of this week. Now right now the way that this is done is through Discord bots and Discord channels. It looks through the most recent transactions of party hats that have been verified. Right now the cheapest party hat by price is a yellow party hat worth 26 billion coins. After that we have a green party hat worth 27 bill, purple party hat worth 29 bill. Those could be interchanged pretty easily, depending on who wants them. Moving forward, the red party hat is worth 34 bill, the white party hat is worth 45 bill, and the blue party hat is worth an astounding 57 billion coins, with the Christmas cracker being worth 53 bill. The price increase on these things recently has been actually insane. This shit is literally like Pokemon cards right now, and it's kind of hard to say why the value has increased so much in the last couple of years. Now, at the beginning of the video, I mentioned that the value of party hats today are so high that you could probably trade it for a car. Now, a huge disclaimer here, this is just to give some reference to how valuable they are. Trading RuneScape gold for US dollars, for example, is against the game rules and considered real-world trading. It would be very challenging to trade a large sum of money like 57 billion coins without being caught, so most likely you would get nothing. But if you did manage to sell it for some reason, a blue party hat would be worth somewhere between $5,000 and $6,000. So you might think, well, is this a good investment? Well, probably not. I have no doubt that the in-game value of party hats will continue to go up. Maybe in a couple years, the blue party hat will be worth 100 bill, who knows? But one really important factor you have to keep in mind is that the value of RuneScape gold is inflating very quickly. Pretty much that means that while the numerical value of in-game gold is going up, its actual value might not be. Also, there's always a potential for like a black swan event where somebody logs into one of their old RuneScape accounts and finds 1,000 party hats. Not likely, but definitely possible. So there we go, guys. That is the meteoric rise of the price of party hats in RuneScape. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, if you want to see other videos like this, let me know with a comment or by liking the video. I really did have a lot of fun researching this, so I'd be super happy to do another one. Now before I go here, I want to give a massive thank you to one of my newest subscribers, James Luft, who just subscribed at the Dragon tier of YouTube membership, joining BradSings, TzTokBunny, RevolverOcilot, and Kush Patel, all at the Dragon tier. That's amazing, guys. Thank you so much. And also a huge shout out to Luke Kayser, Titch, Heathen OSRS, and Doubletalk for your continued support. If you guys are looking for an additional way to support the channel, becoming a YouTube member is an awesome way to do so. You can become immortalized in some of my videos, get access to my video release schedule, as well as get a custom role in my Discord channel. Thanks again, guys, and I'll see you next time.